Hi there and welcome along to another workout for you to row along to. Today's workout is going to be one of the bottom tier fitness building, technique refining rows. Now what we're going to do is 30 minutes at 18 strokes per minute and our pace is going to be round about 2k plus 20. Now you can find this on the ErgZone app as RA29 under the RowAlong track. Now what I'm going to do with this one is just to spice it up a tiny bit, because 18 strokes a minute for 30 minutes isn't exactly the most exciting row in the world. Is every 5 minutes, we're just going to take 5 hard strokes, okay? So that'll just kind of break things up a little bit. Let's you kind of break it down into 5-minute chunks instead of it being this whole long at half an hour. And as I've been doing with the week session ones within the weeks, I'm going to continue the story of my rowing if I don't manage to mess up the power strokes thing. Anyway, right, so that's what we're doing today. This either works as session 1 of week 5 of the 2K Redux plan if you're doing that, or it's just a fantastic standalone workout. Don't avoid these low rate workouts. They're just so good for you, all right? So I'm just trying to make it a little bit more exciting with these 5 harder strokes every 5 minutes. Right, let's get into our 4-minute warm-up as always. We start off by setting up our machine and we go to our drag factor first. If you're on a concept 2, that means the lever on the side. If you don't actually know what drag factor is, then please check out the video on the YouTube channel. If you're on a different kind of machine, just set it where you need it to be, basically where you can connect a good amount of weight from it, but you're not rowing a cruise ship down a stream. Next up, go to your monitor and set it at eye height so you're not looking up and not looking down. And finally, get your foot straps set so that you can get into the front of the machine comfortably with your shins pointing up vertically. Right, so we're going to do 2 minutes of light rowing at 18 strokes a minute to start this 4-minute warm-up. In 3, 2, 1, go. Now we start off just really connecting with our legs and feet. Well, yeah, obviously your legs and feet. Maybe I meant to say legs and arms. You push with the legs and try and get the timing right. So as you do that push, that's when your arms are connecting with the flywheel. So as you start off this warm-up, effort-wise, it's almost just like you're doing a body weight squat where you're not putting much into it, just a bit of a connection. And then as we get through this first 2 minutes of the warm-up, then you start to get the pace up a bit. If you know about 2K pace, if you have a 2K pace, then you want to be running about 2K plus 20. If you don't have a 2K training pace, then you're just thinking like a 5 out of 10 effort. A 2K training pace being that you do a 2,000 meter time trial and divide the result by 4. And that gives you your average pace to cover 500 meters, which is kind of the most common way to look at your pace in the indoor rowing community. Especially on a concept 2, you set the monitor to show the slash 500 meter time. And then when I say do 2K plus 20, you take your 2K average time and go 20 seconds slower than that. Okay, 2 more strokes. 1 more stroke, and then we'll put 1 foot on the floor, carry on rowing. So working your balance a little bit here. Try not to fall off sideways off the machine. Try to still give a good powerful shove from the leg that's in. You might have dropped 5 seconds or so, but that's all right, you've only got 1 leg in. 1 more. Let's swap feet. Then continue with the other leg. And just think about keeping your technique smooth as you do this. Try not to let it go all over the place. And I'll talk more about technique in today's row as we start. So don't worry that I'm not talking about it yet. Okay, both feet in, legs straight. Just use your arms and your body to row. So you swing over your hips and then pull in your arms. And then you push out your arms, and you swing back over your hips. It's really important part of the technique when rowing to get that sequencing right. Back, arms, arms, back. One more. And now arms straight, roll to the front, and just use your legs to push out from the front. Try and carry on leaning forwards, arms nice and straight, push out with the legs. Then try and get that timing right that we spoke about right at the beginning of the warm-up. Connecting your legs with the flywheel, or water wheel, or whatever. One more. All right, so very simple warm-up, but it's a very simple session today. So keep on moving up and down the rail, have a quick drink, and I'll quickly go over one more time what we're doing today. Okay then, so today's session is going to be a nice simple 30 minutes at 18 strokes a minute, and your pace is going to be round about 2k plus 20. And that really means round about a 5 out of 10 effort level if that's how you're working, bearing in mind that 1 out of 10 is you just sitting on the couch watching television with a bag of Wotsits in your hand, all right? So there is some level of effort in here, but it's not going to tire you out. You're going to sweat a little bit, your heart rate will be up a little bit, but it's going to be that kind of bottom tier foundation fitness boosting workout. That said, every 5 minutes we are going to give 5 hard strokes, which may raise your heart rate a little bit as you get through those 5 strokes, but then you should then settle right back down again. All right, so let's get into this. 30 minutes at 18 strokes a minute. Just follow me for stroke rate. It's always a little bit tricky at first to get 18 into the groove, but just follow me and you'll be able to hold the stroke rate. All right, so here we go then. In 3, 2, 1, go. Basically, it's every 3.33333 seconds you take a stroke, and that's kind of how you work it out. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is we'll spend the first 10 minutes going over technique, and then I'll pick up my story of how I got to be the one sitting here talking to you, my kind of rowing journey, and hopefully we can get to the end of my story by the time we're done with this 2K plan, if that's what you're doing it for. So anyway, technique. As I mentioned kind of in the warm-up, one of the things that really does help to trigger off your rowing stroke is what you're doing with your back. So remember that warm-up drill that was about swinging forwards and backwards over your hips. That wasn't just for the drill. It's a really important part of the stroke is that you have a forward lean to 1 o'clock, and then you swing back into an 11 o'clock position, and then back into 1 o'clock again. And your back plays a part in 2 kind of real ways. The first one is that it helps to transfer power into the machine from your legs. But the second is that as you swing over your hips from that forward to the backward lean, you're adding power in as well. Because although the actual figures may vary from person to person, your rowing stroke is effectively 50% legs, and then 30% comes from that swing over your hips as the mass of your upper body shifts back. And then the final 20% comes from your arms pulling in. So, if you get it wrong, the sequencing and the leaning, that 50% power available from your legs may actually only be 40% of what you could achieve. And if you swing your back at the wrong time, you can actually go from 30% to like 5%. If you swing too soon, it's all gone. So you want to hold the forward lean as you drive with the legs, and then swing over your hips as an addition to the leg power. Whereas if you go back before you do your leg drive, you completely wasted all of that power from your back. But also, in order to get that leg power into the machine, you need that forward lean to kind of send it up like a powerful chain through your system. Okay, so in 6 strokes time, we're going to do our first 5 power strokes. This is all from the legs. Wait to push the machine away with your legs with a forward lean and straight arms. 1 more stroke. So here we go. 1, nice straight arms as you connect to the legs. 2, hold that forward lean. 3, until about halfway through the leg drive. 4, and then swing back. 5, and then it's only when you swing or start that swing over your hips that you finally pull in with the arms. Because again, that leg power, in order to all go into the machine, needs to be transferred through straight arms. Because if you bend your arms too early and grab on the handle, pulling from the front, you're suddenly fighting against that power from your legs instead of letting it flow through your body. And if you pull too early, you also rob yourself of that pulling distance at the back of the stroke. So you want to go push, pull, push, pull, or more precisely, push, swing, pull, push, swing, pull. Okay? So that's the timing for the leg drive. But then the recovery is just as important. It's pretty much the reverse. So arms come out first at the same rhythm you pulled them in at. So in, out. And then those arms away trigger your forward lean. Forward lean. And once your hands are over your knees, you should have finished that forward lean. So all you have to do is bend your knees to effortlessly slide up towards the front of the machine, ready for the next stroke. Get those hands over your knees, okay? I don't want to see your knees popping up first, then you have to throw the handle over them. And then you just slide as far as you need to get your shins into a vertical position, pointing straight up. Sit up on your sit bones as you lean forwards, tilting over your hips into the front of the machine with a powerful braced posture and core ready for the force as you start the leg drive. And then keep that powerful posture as you rock over your hips, so that when you're at the back of the stroke, you're still connected through your sit bones. You've not collapsed and tucked your tailbone underneath you, which has power and posture implications, but it also has sore butt implications. If you can stay up in your sit bones, you're going to suffer a lot less pressure related pain from rowing through your backside. Okay, so 4 more strokes, then we're going to do 5 power strokes. 2, 1, here we go, and 1. Get that timing right of feet pushing and arms connecting with the flywheel. Push, hold that forward lean. 5, good job. I think that was 5. Too busy talking. Right, I think that gives a good enough overview of the rowing stroke. I mean, hopefully you're now in a good groove with that hip tilt or hip rock, forwards and backwards, powerful posture, drive with the legs, with straight arms. And all you have to do now is just lock into that groove for the next, well, almost 19 minutes. So, trying to remember exactly where I got to on my story. I got through, yeah, it was the world record, wasn't it? Or the British record for the 1K. There's more to say about that, but basically that was in May. And then, apart from various online challenges like the Cross Team Challenge and the Concept 2 Logbook challenges, the indoor rowing challenge community tends to slow down from May until September, while everyone moves outdoors and rows on the water. Apparently that's a thing. I'll never catch on. But what that meant was I didn't really have anything else on until September, which was the Fitness Matters 5K down in Exeter at the Fitness Matters headquarters. And that was a lot of fun. It's the first time I'd done a full 5K race. Everything had been 1s or 2s until then. And as you'll know, if you've been through my 5K plan, 5K is a completely different beast to a 2K. You really have to get your pacing right so that you're going fast enough that it's not too easy, but you're also not going so fast that you completely tap out your energy resources too soon. But I figured I was still doing Sam's Fitness Matters training plan, which had moved into kind of more wider distance fitness than just a 2K over the summer. And I was doing a lot of RowPro online half-hour races as well, so I figured I had good fitness in me. So flew down to Exeter, stayed in, oh no, I didn't, flew down to Bristol, stayed with my sister for that one. And we drove down the next day from Bristol to Exeter, a couple of hours. That's fine. Being stuck in the car meant I wasn't likely to reach for food. All I had was a protein bar and a cup of coffee. Right, 2 more strokes. Then we've got surges again. Here we go. 5, make sure and push from the legs. 4, nice straight arms as you do that. 3, forward lean, hold it. 2, last big push. 1. So, got to Exeter, and as much as I was being careful about food, weighed myself, and I was 75.3 with my shorts, t-shirt and socks on. And I'm like, uh-oh, this isn't going to go well. So took off my watch, which saved about 80 grams. Then took off my t-shirt I was wearing. It wasn't my race t-shirt. It was just like a standard cotton one, which was another 100 grams. And then off came my shorts too. I was still 10 grams over. So off came my socks. That was the first real scare I had for weighing in as a lightweight, as I stood there in weigh-in with nothing on but my Calvin Kleins. Didn't even have the decency to be embarrassed by that. I was just like, yeah, whatever. Anyway, I made weight at least. And then it was really just a case of killing time, chatting to friends, nice long warm up. And then the race started. It was just in a school hall, so there was nothing particularly fancy about it. The only big difference with this one is that we were backs to the wall, so we were facing the crowd, who were only about 3 feet away. It's the closest I've ever been to the crowd when racing. Anyway, so race starts, and I kind of settle into about 1:48 pace, which would have given me an 18-minute 5K. Going along, it's obviously taken it out of me because it's only about 9 seconds. It's like 2K plus 9 basically. But I suddenly notice my French friend Jean-Sebastian, JS, has got quite a good lead on me after about 2.5K. So I realise I have to speed up in order to neutralise any further distance. So I got to about 1:47 and kind of held him. But it was a good, I don't know, 150 metres ahead, which is about 30 seconds. And then got to about 2K to go, and suddenly people realised there was a potential for a bun fight. Sam ended up behind me, shouting at me, and then my sister ended up behind me too. Right, 3 strokes, and then we'll do our powers. 2, 1. Here we go. Good posture, please. Push up on your sit bones at the front. 4. Hold them, sit bones. 3. Nice and powerful at the back. 2. Last one. 1. So yeah, so Pam, my sister, she wandered behind me. And remember, they can both see the monitor. You can see JS's monitor and mine. So they know who's going fast, who's catching who. So I start to really increase the pace, hoping to catch JS, who's in first place at the time. And then with about 1,500 to go, I'm down about 1:46, so 2K plus 7, and eating into his lead, but not enough at that pace to take him, and certainly not enough if he decides to sprint. And this was the first time I'd ever raced against JS, so I didn't know what he was capable of. So then, with Sam and Pam in my ears, I just basically closed my eyes and just laid into the machine for the next 1,200 meters or so. I know by the end of it, or the very end, I was like 1:31 pace, 2K plus 8, sorry, 2K minus 8. But I couldn't tell you how what the graph was like for my pace increase. All I knew was if I just listened to how loud they were shouting behind me, I'd know whether I was getting closer or not close enough. So anyway, with about 150 meters to go, I passed him and then finished about 40 meters ahead of him, which makes me think, as fast as I may have been rowing, JS was just holding his pace, that he didn't really have a sprint in him to match me. So that was nice to get the Masters lightweight medal for that, for my first 5k race. I mean, it just shows, seen that in the British champs had happened the year before, when I did very much the same to catch Luis, who was in second place during the British Championships. I'm obviously a much better chaser than I am someone who can maintain a lead. Although, that said, when I've won golds, it's always been by maintaining a lead, so maybe that's a bit of a generalization. But that was good, and it really cemented my friendship with Sam from Fitness Matters too. Really trusted him as a coach and a friend from that point on, and was happy to be wearing a Fitness Matters shirt and rowing for the team. Okay, 3 more strokes and we're into our last surges. So here we go. Push with the legs. 4, come on. Pull in nice and strong with the arms at the end. 3, 2, one last power. 1, good job. So then, something happened in the October where Concept 2, for their records on the website, had historically accepted unverified score entries into their records. And the 1K that I got the British record for, somebody else had the world record, but with an unverified score. Well, at a certain point, Concept 2 changed their mind about this and removed unverified scores from the world record tables, which meant that on that Friday I was the world record holder as well as British record holder for my age and weight. I mean, I was only 3 seconds off the world record anyway, but when it comes to the 1K, 3 seconds is actually quite a long time. I think it was 3:01.3, and I became the new world record holder with 3:04.6 without doing anything different. So very much just a number shuffle to get me there, but still, a piece of paper is a piece of paper, and that piece of paper lasted around about 24 hours, because since it was October, the challenges had picked up again, and one of them was a 1K, So there were lots of people rowing fast 1Ks that October, including me, but nowhere near the 304.6 or faster I was looking for. Maybe because I didn't have Stuart Thorpe behind me shouting at me. So got an email the next day telling me I no longer had the world record, that the amazing Tim Mail, who is a stunning rower, he's the guy that we all knew we weren't going to beat in the 2016 British champs, the ones where I got silver. Anyway, he'd done a 1K in 3 minutes, 0.3 I think. Taking the world record from me. So for a period of 24 hours, I had the de facto British record. I also had the readjusted world record. And then Tim came along. But it's all right. I still have a different world record to my name, and that'll be the next chapter of this story. Okay, 3 more strokes and we're all done. Whew. Good job. Well done. So again, one of these bottom tier, low rate, slow workouts that you should be feeling out of breath. I mean, I'm nice and sweaty. You should definitely feel like you've had a workout, but not one that's left you drained and floored. You should be able to think, oh, I could go for a run now, or whatever. It just takes a couple of minutes to settle down, which we'll get to in the cool down, right? So, and hopefully the story of the Devon Indoor Rowing Championships 5K, and then I had it for a moment, world record was enough to keep you entertained through the half hour. Okay, cool down's gonna start in 10 seconds. Whew. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So again, just continue with the 18 strokes a minute, and much like the warm-up, just connect with your legs and arms. You're just giving your chance for your body to wind down, for your cardio system to wind down, and more importantly, chance for your brain to wind down as well. Maybe you found that tough to hold it for the whole half hour, and you just need to kind of now reassess and go, I found it tough, but I managed it. And there is something about 18 strokes a minute that is just that annoyingly bit slow, where it can feel like you can't quite hit the rhythm. And that's the important part, is that it is down to rhythm. If you're staccato at any point, like holding the handle and then flying forwards, that's half the problem with the low rate stuff. You really want to be flowing in and out. Go back and watch me row and you'll find that I'm never stopping. It's always in, recycle the movement, out, recycle the movement. And that's what you need to be doing. And then you'll find the rhythm you need to be able to row at these slow rates. Even if it does mean that you exaggerate the handle up and down for these cool downs, if it helps you with the rhythm. So you really think about down over the knees, then up. Don't recommend that for the main row unless you're an on the water rower, because it can tend to, that up can tend to break your back and you lean back too soon. Woo. So you're best to go in a straight line forwards and backwards for the main row, but if you're working on rhythm, sometimes exaggerating it can help. last stroke for me. You can of course continue to cool down, you don't have to stop just because I did. Make sure to have something to drink, probably have some kind of food or sports drink or whatever your body responds to in order to get the energy back in your system. Maybe give it some protein to rebuild some of the fibers in your muscles, because even though that was a low rate workout, you'll still have used your muscles, and it's always good to give it some protein to rebuild, okay? And plus the protein will fill you up more, and you maybe won't then reach for the sugary drink later and stuff. But anyway, so there we go. So whether that was just a standalone workout for you, it should have been really good, because especially because those 5-stroke surges, or whether that was week 5, session 1 of the 2K Redux plan. Remember, this one's gone to 5 weeks, so this is the week where you're tapering down ready for the 2K time trial at the end of the week. So that's a great one to start off the week at. We'll go slightly faster into a mid-tier in the next session, then we'll slow down and whatever. So we're just going to undulate, make sure you're primed and ready for that 2K time trial. If you've done this as a standalone and you're like, what's he on about? Then hunt out the playlist that I have on the YouTube channel. That is the 2K Redux plan, or alternative plan, I think I've called it. If you look at the playlist, you'll find that I've separated things into different plans, and like the bottom, mid, top tier workouts, all that kind of stuff. And strangely, YouTube just don't make playlists that visible. Even to the fact you have to do a drop down like show all and stuff. It seems quite strange that they have this feature, but then they don't really push it and kind of give it proper prominence. But hey, it's their algorithm, they can do what they want, but it just does make it a little bit tougher for me to get it to you. Anyway, right, rambling on. So I've caught myself in the mirror and realised how terribly unkempt I am. So I'm going to go shower and shave. I may need a haircut as well. I think I've got that wee tuft growing at the back as well. I do. Oh, there we go, there's the hashtag for today then. So again, if you're new, I like to throw in a hashtag at the end of these rows just to kind of prove that you've made it all the way through my waffle. And today's one is tuft, because I've got a wee tuft of hair growing out the back. It could be worse. I mean, I could be complaining about losing a tuft of hair, so I'm not gonna. But yeah, so I need a haircut, a shave, and a shower, and then some food. But anyway, thank you so much for doing this one with me. I will see you in one of my other sessions, whether it's the next one I record or whether it's the next one you load up, who knows. But I'll be there waiting for you. You just turn up and row along with me. Hey, that's like a catch.